Gets hit deep to left center. Andrew Jones on the run. This one has a chance. Home run! Mike Piazza, and the Mets lead 3-2.
At Joyce, looking up. See ya! 3,000. History with an exclamation point.
And the New York Giants, given last rites by many in December, are the Super Bowl champs in February.
Welcome to the podcast that's being listened to coast in the United States, and that's not a joke.
Truly coast to coast.
Two dudes, two drinks with my partner, Steve. How are you, Steve?
I'm great. Welcome everybody. How you guys doing?
And of course, we got update guy Paul along with us. He's got a great update today and a great show helping out today. What are you guys drinking today?
I'm drinking my usual, my Maker's Mark over here.
I have my Jack Daniels again.
I'm going to shock you guys right now.
We got
red wine.
Red wine.
In a plastic cup, too.
You got a little Merlot going on there?
It is Merlot. You guessed.
Is it cheap red wine or good red wine?
It was brought here by somebody, so you know it's definitely good.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, gentlemen, how are you? Busy weekend, busy week. What is up, as Jim Rome would say?
I'm feeling great. It's January 27th, almost the end of January, you know? February is going to come. Football's coming soon. I'm excited, man. I'm excited about some football. I don't know about you guys, but playoff football to me was like great. Like great games. I'm excited for Brady. I'm excited that he's on a team that's going to be playing in their hometown for the first time ever. That's fitting for, the GOAT, my favorite football player of all time, even though I'm a Jets fan. I love Brady.
Yeah.
I wish I was his friend, I wish I was.
Well, imagine us as Yankee fans being fans of David Ortiz. That's what that's like to me.
I'm really surprised because Steve's seems pretty vindictive sometimes. So I'm surprised as a Jets fan he likes Tom Brady.
When he was growing up, he said his dad didn't like that he had a Braves hat. He's a Mets fan. You can't wear it. But it's like wearing a Red Sox hat for a Yankee fan.
The Braves were like the team when I was. But I've always been kind of a Mets hater, I'm like a sour Mets fan.
Yeah,
I'm a Mets fan because my dad made me a Mets fan. I'm a Jets fan because I love the Jets. You know what I'm saying? Like I love the Jets. I love them.
You can trade over to the Yankees.
What is that? No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. I like the Mets. I'm just not like in love with them like I am Jets. You know what I mean?
He's a little nauseating with the Jets. I'm not gonna lie, Paul. Starts with the Jets, Jets.
But I do love Brady though. I just can't. He's just so good. He's just so good. I love him.
Yeah, I like Brady.
I like him.
I mean, I think besides the Giants Super Bowls, the last couple Super Bowls he was in, I was rooting for him because he really is the man. Like and it's fun watching a guy like keep winning. Like I like Mahomes and I like the Chiefs, but like I feel like I'm going to start rooting for Brady again. Like it just happens.
Brady's my age. Like he's literally my age, and he's just dominating the NFL. Like it's insane.
Yeah, no, I've never had a thing against Brady. And actually I was watching America's game and it was about, not America, something on ESPN. And it was about that game, the first big game he won against the Raiders. I got their sweatshirt on right now. It was against the Raiders in that snow game, his first playoff win that he had. Man, that was the start of a dynasty. And he got a little lucky in that game, if you remember the Tuck rule.
Yeah, that's
kind of goes against our argument, goes against Steve's argument about Eli. All these guys get lucky, right, Paul?
Yes. And isn't that like the whole running joke with Brady and the refs? He always gets a break.
Well, then also he got lucky. I'm not disrespecting Brady, but like it proves the point. You need a little luck. Like when Seattle called a freaking play action pass on the goal line instead of a run to Marshawn Lynch. I mean, that was ridiculous.
Mark, you're still trying to push buttons since the first episode.
Well, hold on. Let me get into some feedback, gentlemen. So in the last 2 episodes, we've gotten a lot of nice feedback. We appreciate our listeners. And like I said, people are listening coast to coast. We have 4 listeners somewhere in the state of Washington.
I love that.
I don't know anybody in Washington. There's somebody random. If you're listening, please get in contact with us on our email, which we'll give you later.
You want to be a guest host? Let's go. Guest host.
Yeah. We got a listener in New Mexico. We got a listener in LA. Who would have thought? We haven't made it out of the country. New Mexico.
So they're listening to us on a different time frame, on a different zone. I love that.
Maybe they just like hearing about East Coast sports.
I don't know. Here's some of the feedback we got, though. A guy named John D. from Valley Cottage wrote on Twitter. He wrote this after the first. He wrote this in the first episode. He said, "I look
Alex,
forward to
I
listening
like
between John D from BC. I look forward to listening between the hours of 2 and 7 when I want to get my daily sports fix." I think he was throwing some shade at a local radio station there. A guy named Jeff wrote on Twitter, "Great stuff to all three of you, entertaining and insightful." He said he loved the Jeter comment about how he's totally overrated. I think, Steve, you were throwing that in the first episode somewhere.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate your comments.
That's Jeff. Jeff from I think I know who that Jeff is. I don't know.
Thank you,
Now,
Jeff.
here's where the interesting stuff happened. On the YouTube page, Steve, you did respond. You want to respond to this again? A guy named Joe said, "Great job." He wanted to give his 2 cents worth, though. He said, "Players play to win championships." He said, "Eli belongs in the Hall of Fame without a doubt." And he said, Steve's comment about fluke plays that wind up winning championships. He said, "You should go back and rewatch the 86 World Series with his Mets and reconsider that comment." Care to comment on that comment, Steve?
I mean, like, I don't want to get too much into it, but if you want to talk about, teams that dominated the league, like the Mets, if I'm off the top of my head, I want to say at the end of the year, the Mets were like 20 games in first place. The Giants kind of, backed their ass into the playoffs, into the Super Bowl. And it was, they won, God bless them. But,
we gotta get that. Say it.
by no means did they dominate the league. The Mets dominated the National League that year. Dominated them.
All right, good. Also, Richard from Yonkers said he loves how we threw torpedoes at each other. In the first episode he said he loved the torpedoes that we're throwing at each other. So we got a lot of nice feedback. We appreciate it. We appreciate you chiming in on the argument. I know people have even commented on the last. Oh, that same guy, John D from Valley Cottage from VC. He wrote in the YouTube comments of the second video that Steve, the second episode, that Steve is comical, saying he'd rather have Rivers' career as a fan than Eli's career as a fan. That's what he was saying. So he called you comical, Steve.
I mean, given, if you take Rivers and replace him with Eli and give him everything that Eli had and all the breaks that Eli had, then they would have won 4 Super Bowls, the Giants.
He's exhausting.
Who's exhausting?
He's Steve.
Philip Rivers is a superior quarterback.
This whole argument is just.
This argument needs to drop it. I mean, but Steve, you've been getting all the feedback I'm getting is
Philip Rivers is a better quarterback than Eli Manning.
It's from Paul. Can we say it again? From a fan perspective.
So that's what I'm saying. You're making my argument true.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a different argument. Fan perspective. I'm not getting it.
I want to say it's nice that we're getting. It is nice that we're getting feedback from our listeners.
Yeah,
I like that they're starting to engage with this.
Yeah, they're all going at Steve. I hate to say it. I haven't got.
Well,
Philip Rivers wouldn't have done well in the Giant system.
But in Steve's defense, he's arguing now. Like, I mean, everyone that's listening is mostly a New York sports fan. Therefore, you're not gonna have a lot of Rivers fans. So
ridiculous, dude.
He's so mad. I do want to say, Mark, and Steve, I am looking forward to the topic today.
I'm very looking forward to the topic.
I guess not really a debate, but
we'll introduce it. Well, it might be a debate. We'll see, but we'll introduce it after the update. Why don't you get into that update, guy? Paul?
I didn't want to talk about a topic. I say the show should be about Eli Manning versus Philip Rivers.
No, but then people don't want to hear the same argument again, Steve.
Yeah.
We're gonna lose our viewers in 10 minutes.
Yeah. We'll lose everybody. Also, I'd like to mention that someone gave feedback on the name of the show. Well, I'll leave that there.
Oh, we'll talk about that one later.
No, I don't care. All right,
Rodriguez.
Let's.
Oh, he did, yeah.
Let's jump into the our sports of the week update. We'll start with the NFL.
Wait, hold on. Steve, say it with me. Sports
Of the week.
Yeah.
We need a drop. We should do
We
that.
need a drop for that.
Okay. So we will start with the NFL with last weekend. Championship Sunday was this past weekend.
Great game.
Early game on Sunday was the NFC Championship. Battle of the legendary quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers lost to Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers after one of the worst fourth down calls in recent memory. Head coach Matt LaFleur has been lambasted in the media for deciding to kick a field goal with 2:09 left in the game, as they were down 31-26, they decided to give the ball back to Tom Brady, the greatest of all time. Brady then drove down the field, even got a pass interference call on the Packers defense, and it was over. I can't even read this. It's a disgrace. I don't know why they made that call. And I put here that I usually try not to. I know these people call up sports radio and people love to, do the second guessing the next day. And I try not to do that because I am not a football coach and I did not play football in high school. I love the sport.
We know that.
But that call, thanks, Mark. That was honestly, when they called that field goal, I couldn't even fathom what they were doing. I was in shock. So, anyways, Tom Brady, because of that, is going to his 10th Super Bowl, which will be 18% of all Super Bowls ever played. So, you guys obviously you guys saw the game. What did you think of the call? And also, did you see what Aaron Rodgers said in the press conference after the game? What do you guys think?
Well, not even what he said. How he looked like he was just aggravated. Like I would be extremely furious after a game.
But aggravated because he lost, or aggravated because of that call?
I think more because of the loss, but because of the call. If they had lost on like an interception, I don't think he'd be as mad. He didn't get that ball in his hands. That must have irritated him to no end. It would irritate me.
I mean, not for nothing. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is not at the point in his career where he can just like audible that call and make a play on his like. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like he couldn't like use his best judgment and call like a pass play and like just what are they gonna do? They're gonna fire him if he throws like
well, they're putting a whole new team out there, special teams.
Yeah, special teams.
He could have been like, what?
Yeah,
the sideline.
Like
sideline.
If that happens and then he throws a touchdown pass, that's like one of the iconic moments in sports right there. But it didn't happen.
And if it doesn't happen, then they're like, you know what? He's still the greatest, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time because
the field goal wasn't getting him anywhere.
That's what I'm saying. Like that was a pointless score. Like I don't that game was so frustrating to me. Like it really pissed me off.
No, it made me smile.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm glad the Bucs won, but still, the first Eli's first Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes was 2 years old when Eli won his first.
No, Brady. You mean, man? Eli's really living rent free in your head right now.
When Tom Brady won his first Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes was 2 years old.
Two or was a little older, I think.
No, 2 years old.
2?
2 years old.
That means he's only 22 right now. No, that's not possible.
Bro,
Tom Brady's first Super Bowl was 2001.
When Tom Brady was like 26 and Patrick Mahomes was like 2. I looked it up. I'm telling you.
Pat Mahomes was born in 1995. That means he was 7 at Tom Brady's first Super Bowl.
I saw that he was 2, bro.
No, he would not be playing right now if he was 2. He'd be in college. So, anyway, yeah, I don't know how. You think is LaFleur going to lose his job for that?
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
It wasn't that.
Look at what a year. I mean, look how much better that team has been under him versus what's his name, Mike McCarthy. I mean, it was literally 1 year. Like he literally took over, and the team became significantly better in a year after McCarthy left. So.
Yeah, McCarthy, they were like a dead zone.
Yeah, they couldn't call plays, and they were so stale. But yeah, so I don't know. I don't think he'll lose his job, no. But it was just bizarre. I guess they said. Well, a lot of people are saying there's analytics involved now.
Oh God, football's not analytics too.
There was something like a 3% chance of them winning if they kicked the field goal. But analytics doesn't consider Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you're putting the ball in the hands of Tom.
Or even if it's not him, even one little first down and the game's over.
Yeah, and Tom Brady, and that's the thing. He doesn't even need to it's not even about scoring. Like he's a great game manager. Like he knows what to do. Like
yeah,
I don't know.
That was universally hated by everybody.
Yeah.
That call. Nobody agreed with that call.
And Pat Holmes goes home. I mean, not Pat Holmes. Aaron Rodgers goes home with only 1 Super Bowl ring as of right now, as we stand. Amazing.
Packer next year? You think he's gonna go somewhere else? Or you think he's gonna be a Packer next year?
I think he'll be a Packer.
Yeah, I think he's Green Bay for life.
What are they gonna do? I mean, he's got what is a contract. I mean, I don't know.
38, I think. I don't know.
I mean, ideally, he should do what Brady did and go play in the South, nice warm weather.
One can make a case that he's overrated.
Who? Rodgers?
Yeah.
No.
A little bit.
Well, you know my feeling.
I mean, he's gonna get the MVP this year.
He's not over. He's a very good quarterback, and he plays in a tough environment.
Unbelievable. He's after Tom Brady, he's an X-Max quarterback in year. Like, no,
He is.
But I always feel like they should go further than they do, and they always seem to get knocked out before they get the Super Bowl.
Yeah, once again, Dan Marino was unbelievable and never won.
Yeah, never won anything.
And he's not overrated. So football, I mean, Aaron Rodgers definitely didn't always have a lot of. I mean, now he's got a lot of talent around him. I think for a couple of years they didn't have a lot of support, but
I was told Aaron Rodgers today. Someone told me Aaron Rodgers is 1-4 in championship games. Interesting.
Yeah, he's won the same amount of championship games as Tom Brady, and Tom Brady's only been in that
NFC
division for 1 year.
That conference, yeah, interesting.
Mark's gonna make his Eli. All right, moving on. Before we hear the Eli comments, even I'm sick of it. So then we had at Sunday night we had the AFC Championship game, which I was really looking forward to, and was kind of a bummer. The Buffalo Bills got their doors blown off by the Kansas City Chiefs. After Buffalo took a 9-0 lead, I was really excited at first. Into the second quarter, Mahomes and the Chiefs pretty much settled in and took off with an overwhelming performance. Just some stats from the night. Wide receiver Tyreek Hill caught 9 passes for 172 yards. Tight end Travis Kelce caught 13 passes for 118 yards and 2 touchdowns. Final score was 38-24. I think that makes it seem even closer than it actually was. Interesting moment that I was reading, or I watched 2 days ago. Stephen Diggs, I don't know if you guys saw the video of Stephen Diggs staying in the end zone to watch the Chiefs celebrate.
Saw a picture of it. I didn't see the video.
Yeah, and there was some video of it too. After about 5 or 10 minutes, Bills head coach Sean McDermott came back out to get Diggs, and they walked back into the locker room together. And it was kind of poignant. I thought it was kind of cool. I don't think he was mad. I think he was watching more like kind of
doing. Steve's gonna kill me for saying this, but he was doing the Derek Jeter. You watch the team, you watch the loss, and you don't want to remember that feeling ever again.
Yes.
I know it's a different sport, but say a loss is a loss no matter what the sport is.
Right.
So that's what he was doing, yada, yada, yada. The Bills are going to be good, though. Bills got Josh Allen. They're set for years. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah. Bills are going to be the team to beat in that AFC East because the Patriots are done. And the Dolphins, I don't know. They can never seem to get it together. Bills are going to be running away with things for a while there, in my opinion. What do you think, Steve?
I agree with you. Bills are not ready for that game. They were not ready for the moment. They kind of got lost in the moment. They got a little bit outclassed, I think. But I think they needed that. I think that they'll build off of that for next year. I think that was a tough loss for them, and they're upset. But they got a good team. Josh Allen is a beast. Once they get people back in the stands, Buffalo's going to be a tough ass place to play in. So I think that they'll be back up there, no problem. But tough loss though. Tough loss. They did not look good, but the Chiefs are nasty. Patrick Mahomes is like, I feel like I'm watching a Super Bowl player, like he's the man, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm watching like someone who's like a computer game. Like every throw he throws is just like zip, zip, zip. I love him. Patrick Mahomes is possibly the best quarterback of all time in the making, in my opinion.
In the making, yes. I think we'll see what happens. We don't know yet, right? But
he's gonna win like so many Super Bowls.
And I'm gonna go back to the Bills. We can talk about the Chiefs all week. That's why, and you guys know I love them. But Bills, they've had a couple tough losses now. I think did they blow a lead last year in the wild card game, if I remember right? So the Bills they've had those a couple tough losses, and that's usually what teams need at first before they start winning the big ones. So let's see where they go from here. Let's see what happens to them next year. Are they going to be able to get over that Kansas City hump, though?
Imagine if Bills become like the Bills from like back in the day, like the Jim Kelly Bills.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. With Josh Allen, it's possible. I was already thinking that. But are they going to be able to get over that hump that Jim Kelly's team didn't? That's going to be important. That's going to be what matters the most.
Houston is so damn good, man. Like with Mahomes, like I can't see them not being legit every year until Patrick.
No, that's what I mean. So who's going to dethrone them? in the AFC.
Yeah. We'll see, bro.
All right, so Paul, let's go next.
Okay, next, Major League Baseball. So more Yankee signings and more Mets offers. Last Sunday, the Yankees acquired former number 2 overall pick Jamison Taillon in a 4-for-1 trade with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Taillon joins former Pirates teammate Gerrit Cole and 2-time Cy Young Award winner Corey Kluber in New York's new look rotation. Taillon, 29, is currently rehabbing from his second career Tommy John surgery. He has not pitched in an MLB game since May 2019, but is expected to be ready for spring training and opening day. Given his injury history, the second Tommy John typically carries more risk than the first. Yankees figured to ease him back into action. This is all coming from CBSSports.com. He's also very friendly with Gerrit Cole. They were in the minor leagues together and all that. So that's the Yankees.
You know, he's also a cancer survivor too, right?
I did not know that.
Testicular cancer, yeah.
I did not.
I think it's testicular cancer, yeah.
Yeah.
So, once again, I'm going to say what I said last week. I know he's a risk, but I'd much rather have him. I'd much rather have Kluber than saying, oh, let's throw Chad Green out for an inning, and then let's throw this guy out for an inning, or, Britton, whoever. I want starters. Go back to the days of starters, and that's what the Yankees are doing. They're stockpiling their rotation. Hopefully these guys stay healthy. If they do get hurt for a few starts here and there, hopefully a Jordan Montgomery can step in. Hopefully a Delvi Garcia can step in. Go with actual starters. I don't want them relying on bullpen. It's not how it works. I don't care what analytics say. I'm against that part of the game, especially with the way they use pitching nowadays. So I like this trade. They didn't give him any big prospects for him. Great move. Once again, Cashman proves he is the best GM in New York. Anyone have to say about that?
No, he's a great GM.
Oh, wow.
He is. I mean, come
Okay.
on. I appreciate a pitcher that can go into like the 6th or 7th inning. That's like invaluable to a baseball club. I mean, straight up, you know what I mean? And if that was what the Yankees acquired, then I mean, good for them.
We'll see. He's got to stay healthy. What else you got, Paul, for baseball?
Okay, so and then we have Trevor Bauer. So Bauer is the last of the big 3 free agents. A report Tuesday that Bauer had received a record-setting offer from the Mets in terms of annual average value was debunked, but the likelihood remains strong that Bauer received an offer that will pay him north of $30 million per year for at least 4 years, with opt-outs embedded in the contract. According to the New York Post, Bauer has also been linked to the Blue Jays, Angels, and Dodgers. There is a belief within the industry that if the others are comparable, Bauer will choose the Mets because of his desire to play in a big market, especially with an eye towards building a brand and fame that transcends baseball. This is what he's been saying. He does have a little bit of a checkered social media past, which could be influencing how teams look at him, but I'm speculating based on what I've read. But we do know he's got a big mouth. So that's Trevor Bauer.
Steve, how do you feel about him as a Met?
I mean, I think he's a little bit of a blowhard. I think that he'll do great if he performs here, and I think that he'll get torn up if he doesn't. But like I was saying before, I don't think he's going to be a Met. I think he's going to be a Blue Jay. I've heard the Blue Jays name overwhelmingly linked to him. So I mean that's my gut. I won't be mad if we get him. I won't be mad if we don't get him. But I think that he needs to put up or shut up. You know what I mean? If he's a gamer and he's a stud, then his voice will give him a million different like for Nike and for Reebok and for Snickers and for McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? So coming to New York could be the best thing or the worst thing for him, in my opinion. But like I said, I don't think it's coming.
You think Blue Jays?
I think Blue Jays. I really do. I keep on hearing the name over and over again. They got the money for it. So, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, the Blue Jays, they have really stepped up their game with Springer. Even Marcus Semien was a good signing. The Blue Jays are really stepping up right now.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little scared of them in the AL East. I'm not going to lie, as a Yankee fan. But Bauer, I mean, in my opinion, if I'm the Mets, I'm going to go get him because that's going to back up your talk from the offseason of we're going to go get everybody. We're going to get everybody. We're going to spend money. I feel like if he doesn't get a Mets fan, don't get him, Mets fans are going to be very disappointed.
Yeah.
Not that matters, but I'm just saying.
They've been talking about him like he was the first free agent that they were talking about in the beginning, and they still haven't got him. So that alone makes me nervous. They've gotten a whole bunch of other people before they've gotten him. Like, what's the holdup? You know.
And you still have a lot of question marks in that rotation after the Grom. Syndergaard's coming back from Tommy John not till later on in the season, mid-season. Marcus Stroman, I'm a big fan of him. He's great. I love how he plays the game, but he doesn't produce like he should.
Yeah.
Doesn't.
Okay.
You got Matz, who's always inconsistent. I mean, I don't know. I go get Bauer from the Mets because then you get him and DeGrom together. If Bauer performs like he's supposed to, that's a tough 1-2 to start a best of 5 series against.
Yeah, like I said, I won't be mad if we get him. I think it'll be a good addition if he does what he's got to do. But the Mets will be okay. The Mets, if everyone performs on the Mets like they should perform, then the Mets line, like the Mets rotation is nasty.
I mean, Syndergaard would be like a trade in July for you guys.
Come on now, come on.
No, a trade. He'll be like an upgrade in July. When you get him
okay.
back.
They trade him. Yeah.
No, they're not going to trade Syndergaard unless they got somebody amazing for him. Yeah.
But we got. Come on, man. Don't get me down about the Mets. The Mets are looking good right now. The Mets are looking real good. If they get Bauer, then they'll be even better. But without him, they'll be fine. They'll be fine.
All right. I thought Steve was only going to be happy if the Mets signed every single player on the planet. That's what he was. The first day Cohen got there, he's like, "Oh, we're getting this guy. We're getting that guy. We're getting him. Him.
The Mets just signed. You would know his name, maybe. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but I feel like he was on the Yankees for a minute. The Mets just signed like a left-handed pitcher. I can't think of his name.
Oh, I know you're talking about. Shoot, I can't think of his name now.
Starts with an L. Starts with an L.
It just happened.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, it starts with an L. I can't think of it.
Kirby Yates, no.
But I like him though. Sorry, I can't come up with his name.
Aaron Loop.
Yeah, that's the one. He's not bad, He's not bad. Helped the Yankees beat the Reds, I believe. Pretty sure he was on the Yankees. Maybe check me, but I feel like he was on the Yankees at one point.
I don't think so.
No.
I think Steve just wants to throw that at us, like we got one of your guys.
Well, the Mets did sign him though, right?
Yes, that just happened before we came out.
I felt like he was on the Yankees at one point. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay.
The Yankees signed Darren O'Day today. That's not big news, though, but that is good news. Good way to solidify the bullpen. All right, Paul, what's next? I think we're talking Hall of Fame, right?
Yeah, for the first time since 1960, the membership of the National Baseball Hall of Fame will remain frozen. No,
2013.
No player on the Hall's. What'd you say?
2013, there was nobody selected, too.
That's not what I read.
Yeah, no, 2013, 8 years ago also.
Well, no player in the Hall's 2021 Baseball Writers Association of America ballot reached the 75% threshold needed for enshrinement in Cooperstown. The leading vote getter was controversial pitcher Curt Schilling, who was named on 71.1% of the ballots, 16 votes shy of the minimum needed for selection. He was followed by all-time home run leader Barry Bonds with 61.8% and 354 game winner Roger Clemens, who had 61.6% of the voting. All 3 former All-Stars were in their 9th year of eligibility on the ballot. That only gives them one more chance to get in because there's a 10-year limit on it. So,
Steve, what do you want to say about the Hall of Fame? You said you wanted to make a comment.
I just think the Hall of Fame is more of the Baseball Hall of Fame specifically is more of a popularity contest than anything. It's just, Ty Cobb wasn't even on the first ballot, like they because he was a scumbag, Ty Cobb. So they left him off of the Hall of Fame ballot when he was first eligible to be spiteful. So I think that's what a lot of I feel like a lot of people that have Hall of Fame voting capabilities, that they have the honor to have a Hall of Fame vote, they abuse it, and they're news reporters that have grudges. And they hold out their grudges with their votes. So the Hall of Fame to me is a farce. Like there's people in there that I think deserve to be in a Hall of Fame. The fact to me that the Hall of Fame doesn't have a section like a steroid era section is insane to me. Like the fact that the Hall of Fame and baseball itself hasn't acknowledged that is crazy. Like they should have a section that includes like Bonds and McGuire and Canseco and all them, and acknowledge that's a history.
It's not Disney World. I mean, it's not Universal Studios. Oh, this is the land of it's a Hall of Fame. It's not it doesn't make sense.
But that's an indelible part of baseball history. The steroid era is an
No, I think they should just be in, but they don't have to say that they did steroids.
Okay, so
just put them in.
Can I jump in this I'll change the topic. This was going to be my question for the 2-minute drill at the end today. Like, so this works right in, so I'll just use it now, and then I have a different topic for later. Can the Baseball Hall of Fame be taken seriously without Barry Bonds in it?
You cannot. Barry Bonds was a Hall of Famer before he even took one steroid. And the fact that he's not in there, I mean, I could take a cycle of steroids right now, and I still would not be able to do a tenth of what Barry Bonds did. So, I mean, get out of here. He was a steroid user competing in a steroid era against other steroid users, and he still dominated. He was. I mean, give me a break.
That's a really good point.
I agree. He should be in it because he was a Hall of Famer, even on the Pirates and the Giants. I still take it seriously, but I think they should change the way the voting goes. I don't think these writers shouldn't be doing it. Also, Brian Costello, who's a Jets beat writer for I think the Post, gets a Hall of Fame vote because he was a baseball writer for 10 years. Andrew Marchand, who writes about media for the New York Post, and he's good. I like him. He gets a Hall of Fame vote. There should be some writers included, but I don't think that it should be like a veterans committee like they do for certain guys. That's what they should have.
It should be current players and like I don't even know, like titans of the industry, of the radio industry, like the Francescas and I don't know, the Craig Cartons of the world, you know what I'm saying?
Oh God, no, Craig Carton doesn't need a vote.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it should be the people that have a voice in the industry, like it should be like the top sports talk host in each big market, like Chicago and New York and whatever, you know what I mean?
That's the same thing as writers.
Yeah, then you run into.
And you really trust Mike Francesa's opinion, but anyway, I think they should change it to veteran players that are in the Hall of Fame. You got guys like Sandy Koufax that are still alive.
I like that.
Now you got Jeter will be in next year. He could be on that committee. So
isn't there a separate veterans thing of some sort?
Yes, and that's what they should just go to permanently. Forget the writers because they're playing favorites, and I don't like that.
I've heard that's different. I've heard that is the opposite problem of the Hall of Fame, where like that's very buddy.
Yeah,
that's what football does too.
It's just a fraternity, basically.
Listen, they usually get it right. Let's be honest. This steroid thing is an issue. I also think, like Steve said, popularity contest. I think a lot of people didn't like Barry Bonds because he was nasty with the media.
Yeah, he was a scumbag.
So that's why, but it's not fair. Even Albert Bell, I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer, but he got like zilch votes because people didn't like him. Yeah. Not that he might have been a Hall of Famer. He had a short career because he got hurt a lot. But yeah, there should be some retooling of it, definitely. But the good thing is on all of it, there is still going to be a ceremony this summer, and Saint Jeter will be finally inducted after last year not being able to. So that's exciting for Yankee fans like myself. So anyway, that's that.
I got one more thing.
Yes, I saw that on
lastly, this isn't MLB news, but broadcaster and former Dallas Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo predicted a Bucs-Chiefs Super Bowl back in Week 12, further solidifying him as one of the best broadcasters on air right now. I just wanted to say that.
I mean, good for him and good for Tony Romo. He's finally getting to a Super Bowl because we know he couldn't do it as a quarterback. So congratulations, Tony.
As a Giants fan who hated his guts, Mark and I, man, all the time screaming at him and cursing at him, I have learned to enjoy games that he is a broadcaster for. I really have. I didn't think I would when I enjoyed him a lot.
He's absolutely horrendous.
If Tony Romo was as good as reading defenses back in the day as he is now, then he would have won like 4
He calls everything. And then he gets excited like that Chiefs game against not last week's game, 2 weeks ago, when the backup Chad Henne came in and Romo got tricked. They all got tricked on that play, and he's screaming and like it gets you into it. You can only listen to Al Michaels for so long.
I mean, whatever. I'm glad he's finally playing in a Super Bowl because we know he couldn't do it as a player. So I'm glad.
Mark just can't give him any credit.
I just don't like him. I don't listen to the game for him anyway. So
No,
I
I
had it-
agree, but he makes it a little more exciting.
I had the game on low volume, so I didn't have to hear his scratchy voice, scratchy atchy there.
All kidding aside, though, he's a great announcer. Like he's
Yeah.
Did you
fun.
not hear what I
Mark's not kidding.
said?
Mark
He's
does not like
horrendous.
him. No, Steve, Mark does not like him. So
He's horrendous. He's the worst announcer in sports by far.
yeah, he's
I literally lower the game. I'm not even gonna watch the Super Bowl. No, I'm
they're
gonna watch.
being
Of course.
ridiculous.
He's ridiculous.
And you can't even hate him because it's not like he ever really beat. I mean, he beat us in the regular season, beat him in the play. Like he was never successful, so that's why he doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Speaking of Super Bowl, I got some good boxes. I mean, among others, I got 0-0. I got 3-7. I got great boxes.
I don't know my numbers yet.
Great boxes. So I mean, if you have a gambling problem, call 100 Gamblers Anonymous.
All right.
Wait, remember I said I text you guys the group chat. I said I would do a segment on betting, but I haven't won in months.
Yeah, I don't want you to take your betting advice.
My
bet to stay home.
my $2 parlays are not working out lately.
Parlays are a bad idea anyway. You know what I mean?
The best
right.
way to do it.
Today's topic, gentlemen. So, people, audience, viewers, all ages. Today, me and Steve are gonna have. I don't know if it's gonna. We don't know if it's gonna be a debate or not. But today we're doing the top 5 sports moments in our lifetime, New York history, based on excitement that it generated for us as a fan, based on importance for the city. So top 5 moments for us. All right, in New York sports history. Now, one caveat: we can pick one that fell out of our lifetime when we were not alive for.
Yeah.
So it could be like something from 1930. I wasn't on here, but I could have picked like Babe Ruth's called shot. I was definitely not alive for
That's
that.
what I picked. That was mine.
No, you didn't.
No, I'm joking.
Because that's even mythical too. We don't know if that's even true.
Yeah, I don't know if that's true or not.
But I
So
picked
we're going
pick tie
order here, right? We're going in from least
Yeah. We're going 5, 4, 3,
spine
2, 1.
tingling to most spine tingling. Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I went on importance also. So Paul, do you want to guide us? And then we'll go through it.
Importance to who? Importance to you or importance to New York City?
Importance to the state of New York.
The state of New York. Okay.
Yeah. State of New York, yeah. And sports in general, and of course us too. All right. And actually, I picked one that really isn't important to me, but I know it's important for New York because I wasn't selfish, Steve, all the time. Yes, I am. You're gonna be very impressed. So, Paul, do you want to guide us? Go 5, 5, and then go like that. Want to do that? Something like that?
Yeah, I think you should start. I think you should do both. Give your 5th and then your 4th.
Steve, give me your 5th. Let me hear it and tell us why.
All right. So you want to know why? So I'm getting into why.
Yeah, well, tell me the 5th one. Yeah, or whatever, however you want to do it.
All right. So my 5th one happens to be one that I was not born yet for. This is my one that I was not born yet for.
Okay.
All right. And that one is, of course, want to take a guess?
You weren't born for it. Oh, Super Bowl 1, Super Bowl 3.
Super Bowl 3.
I knew it.
Okay.
The Jets upset the Colts to win Super Bowl 3. I read a lot of articles on this. I got into a hole about it. This was like a gigantic upset. Like people were like losing their minds over this back in the day. Picture this. The Jets were an 18-point underdog against the Colts. That's insane.
Oh my God.
That's insane. That'll never happen again in a Super Bowl. No team will ever be an 18-point favorite against another team. Crazy. So just think about that upset. Just think about that upset. Jets wound up winning 17-6. So I mean, they beat that spread by like 29 points, which is like ridiculous. Okay, they played against a team that it's funny. I did a lot of research on this team.
The Baltimore Colts.
They played the Colts, who had Johnny Unitas on the team, which is like when you think about quarterbacks, you like think about like Johnny Unitas. Like when I was young, if you were like playing good on the playground, we were like, "Yo, what's up, Johnny Unitas?" You know what I mean? But it turns out that Johnny Unitas did not play the whole entire season. He was hurt.
I have heard that.
Yeah, another quarterback played. His name, I can't think of his name right now. Some random quarterback right now. But Johnny Unitas did not play that whole entire season. The Colts wound up putting him in like end of the third quarter against the Jets in the Super Bowl, but he wasn't able to come back. You know what I mean?
Can I ask you a question? Maybe you can answer this. Why at the time was, and they always say this, the other reason why they were such an underdog is the AFL wasn't considered as good a league. Like, why is that? Was there a reason?
Too.
Exactly. They just were not as well established as the NFL yet. You know what I mean?
And it was a different league too, Paul. Not a
Yeah, no,
comp-
I know.
Yeah,
So the Jets were.
Didn't they merge right after this? Wasn't it after the Super Bowl?
in a couple years after that. Yeah.
Yeah. The Jets were looked upon as like, oh, that AFL team that was up against this like Titan team of the NFL. So when they won, it was like just like holy shit, you know what I'm saying? Couple of fun facts about this game. This was the first game to be called like the Super Bowl. You know, before that it was just called like the championship game, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This was the first Super Bowl victory for the AFL. So the Jets were the first team of the AFL to win, you know, and of course they merged after that, you know what I'm
It was
saying?
the next year I just read.
Yeah. It was the first and last Super Bowl for the Jets, as you guys are well aware of.
Yeah.
So that's fun. Another fun fact, Joe Namath was the MVP of the game, even though he didn't throw or run for a touchdown, which to me just tells you how bullshit the MVP for Super Bowl is. It means absolutely nothing because Joe Namath got it. And the only reason he got it was because he called the game, which will go down in NFL history. Like he called the game. He's like, we're going to win this game. And of course he did. And that's going to go down in history as like, you know, that's pretty. I mean, that to me is why Joe Namath made the Hall of Fame, is because he made this call and he came in like a stud. He was wearing fur jackets and shit, like he was the man, you know. So,
All right. Interesting choice. I don't disrespect that choice at all. I completely agree. I actually thought maybe you'd put it higher up on your countdown, but I guess because you weren't around for it, maybe that's why. All right. Well, my first one, I was around and I was very young. It was my first year really watching sports, and I can still remember it very vividly. It was the Rangers win in 1994, the Stanley Cup. I remember that whole postseason with them and the Knicks. You respect that one, Steve?
I remember that like it was yesterday.
So I remember that whole postseason really well. It was really the first year I really watched hockey and I can remember watching hockey and basketball that spring. And I remember going to my grandma's house, Knick games on, going to my uncle's house, Ranger games on. My dad the next day, Ranger games on. Watched a lot of it. I was young, but I do remember when they won the cup. I remember the next day, like the excitement of it, the first time of getting that championship. You know, I was very young. I got spoiled at a young age, 8 years old, and boom, I got a Stanley Cup championship under my belt as a fan. So,
That's great.
That moment, I mean, so many things from that. First of all, it broke the famous 54-year curse. Iconic run that season. They had two series that went 7 games, the one against the Devils and the Canucks. Just a gritty team, even though they had the star Messier, the star Leach. The Rangers that season had so many gritty players, whether it was Buka Boom, Graves was very gritty. You had Mike Richter in goal, just a solid, good goaltender. Steve's even happy about this.
I love it.
You know, some of the big moments from that the season was amazing. But I mean, even from the playoff run, you got Richter stopping Bure on the penalty shot. You got the famous Matteau goal in Game 7 against the Devils when the Devils had tied it with like 1.8 seconds left or something. And in Game 7, you got another guarantee, the Messier guarantee when they were down 3-2. He has the hat trick to back it up. That's big time right there. In New York, right?
Stud.
Yeah. And yeah, just amazing. Nothing like the Sam Rosen call. The waiting is over. The New York Rangers are Stanley Cup champions. I mean, you can't beat that. John Davidson crying after it was over. The announcer for the Rangers who had been their goalie. Now is their president, actually. Yeah, just amazing. If you go back and watch that series, I mean, they slept through the Islanders in the first round, beat them in 4, beat the Capitals in the next round in 5. And then they went up beating the Devils in 7, that amazing gritty series. And the Devils and them were like hot rivals back then. And then of course, the Canucks, the Vancouver Canucks with the iconic Pavel Bure, the Russian Rocket, my favorite player from NHL 1999, if you remember, Paul. So, yes, the Rangers did it. I mean, an amazing season, an amazing team. So that was my number 5. You got any beef with that, Steve?
No, I mean 1994 was, I would have to say, the pinnacle of my hockey interest. That's when I was actually like playing hockey. Like I would go on the lake when it was frozen and we would play, and
Word of my bay over here.
yeah. It was all Rangers talk. I wrote like in 1994 like on my hockey stick, and it was just a good time. Like that was when I was like, I would fall asleep at hockey games. You know what I mean? Like that was like the golden age of hockey for me.
27 years later, you're not into it anymore, right?
That was the golden age of NBA and NHL.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, for the Garden that year was amazing. And that was an amazing year for the Garden too. That's also why I think that 90. Too bad the Knicks didn't win too. But
surprisingly, spoiler alert, none of the Knicks era, like none of the Patrick Ewing era moments are on my top 5.
okay, interesting. So, do you want to give your 4? Or do you want me to give my 4? What should I do, Paul?
Which brings me to my top 4. You want to go? I mean, unless you want to go
first.
first. I don't care.
Steve went first last. Steve should go again.
All right, so do it like that. Okay, go, Steve.
You want me to go again? All right.
Yeah, do your number 4.
My top 4. Speaking of Knicks, I mean, I know it has nothing to do with Patrick Ewing, but I'm going to put my Patrick Ewing jersey on anyway because I'm talking about the Knicks here. That has nothing to do with Ewing, but my 4th one has to do with a little thing I like to call Linsanity.
I did not expect that at all.
Yeah, Linsanity. I mean, do you guys remember how electric the city was during Linsanity?
I was in college, and it was I was watching every
game. Insane. Okay, insane. All right. He's been on the cover of Time the same amount as Michael Jordan. All right, Jeremy Lin. Okay, and it's all because of Linsanity. Okay. And he's a Harvard dude, all right? He's no idiot. He's no J.R. Smith, all right? He's Harvard-educated Jeremy Lin, okay? He went from living on a couch with his brother to, like, living in the Trump Towers. True fact, all right? The day before his breakout game, he was living with Landry Fields on his couch, okay? And, like, a month later, he was living in the Trump Towers, okay? I mean, to me, there hasn't been that much excitement since. Like that was like it. Like there MSG has not been more electric since Linsanity. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me give you some stats here. You guys know I love stats. You know what I'm saying? Okay. He had 109 points in his first 4 games of Linsanity, which lasted 13 games. Okay. After that, he like died off a little bit. Like he still was producing, but it died off. You know what I'm saying? His first 4 games, okay, of Linsanity, he had 109 points. That's like ridiculous to me. Okay. Another fun fact about Linsanity: in the middle of Linsanity, like maybe like game 5 or game 6, whatever, J.R. Smith made his debut. Happens to be one of my favorite Knicks players of all time. Love J.R. Smith.
Wow, this is getting a little
Love
weak.
J.R. Smith.
This went to a place they did not expect.
Wow, this took a turn.
Yeah. So for those 13 games, he averaged almost a double for them. He had 22 points a game, 9 assists a game. So he averaged almost a double. And then to end my talk, of course, this was all ruined because of one of my least favorite players of all time, Carmelo Anthony, couldn't handle that the spotlight was not on him. So he got my buddy Jeremy Lin traded, just like he got like D'Antoni out of there, and like, hey, Carmelo Anthony.
So as someone who does not remember the good Knicks years in the 90s, Linsanity was the only time that I was really, really excited about the Knicks for a good month. I was in college and I was watching every Knicks game. And I remember standing up, screaming. I remember cheering. I remember going nuts. And then it ended. I don't think I watched the Knicks after that.
I lived in Astoria at the time, and we had Time Warner Cable. I remember this. We had Time Warner Cable, and we did not get MSG games.
I remember that.
They were having some like conflict, whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Time Warner Cable is the absolute like the shittiest cable
Yeah,
company
that
in
was
like the
happening.
universe, you know. But so Insanity basically made them get you know, like resolve the dispute, and we wound up getting the Knicks games again. So we can thank Jeremy Lin for that.
Yeah, 'cause think about how many people. I mean, like I just said, I mean, so many people I knew were like so into it. I mean, MSG was electric.
And he got a fat contract for that too. You know, like once he was traded for the Knicks, they gave him a fat contract, all
Yeah,
because of 13 games. You know.
oh, that was a good one, Steve.
All right, interesting. We're going to talk about that one at the end, though. We'll go back at the end and revisit a couple of these because I have some choice words. But anyway, number 4, my Yankees make their first appearance on the countdown. Actually, their only appearance, believe it or not. The Yankees, and Paul, you're going to like this one. D. Boone homer, Game 7, 03 ALCS.
Would be on my list.
First of all, just break it down. Amazing bloody series, literally bloody. Like you had Pedro throwing down Zimmer. You had Manny going after Clemens. You had Kareem Garcia sliding into what's his name? Todd Walker. I think it's Todd Walker. Yeah, Todd Walker. Right into him starting a fight. You had Jeff Nelson and Kareem Garcia fighting in the bullpen with some security guard. You have, I mean, you got so many things going on in that series. Great pitching, great bullpens. But it came down to one thing. Grady Little left Pedro in way too long. And the Yankees tied it up at 5 with Jorge, who hated Pedro. You know, Pedro used to yell Dumbo at him from the dugout. I read that one time in a book. Like he hated Pedro. They hated each other. That's sports, right, Steve? You hate the opponent. Not, oh, let's all be friends after the game like the basketball players do now, right?
Nothing annoys me more when the player of an opposing team helps another player up off the ground.
Yeah, you said that in last episode, yeah.
That shit, man.
So
That shit.
Mariano Rivera gave 3 great innings to keep it tied, and then Tim Wakefield came in, and boom, Aaron Boone puts himself in Yankee history with that famous home run. We in our house were jumping on the coffee table. I went outside and was screaming profanities out.
Mark lost
I mean, it was absolutely insane. Even when they tied it, I mean, you knew when they tied it, they were gonna win. And who started that rally in the tie? Good old Derek Jeter, number 2, with a double over Trot Nixon's dopey head. So, and people forget that game was hyped up as our Clemens versus Pedro Game 7. Clemens laid an egg. Pedro pitched great up until those last 2 innings, the last 8th inning.
That's right.
So it was Boone coming up in the 11th inning, and bam, a home run off Tim Wakefield sends the Yankees to the World Series. Great.
Aaron Boone owns his managerial job to that home run.
I mean, you could be right about that. I don't know, but you could be right. But hey, that's not what the debate's about.
Yeah. Good one. I like that one.
Like that you respect that one? I thought you were gonna hate on that one. All right, so give me your number 3.
It's funny you mentioned Derek Jeter because my number 3 moment in New York sports history, as far as like giving me the chills, you know what I'm saying? Like just like, damn. You want to guess what it is?
What is it?
Derek Jeter, the flip.
Oh wow, against the A's.
Can I tell you how many times I've watched that clip of Derek Jeter like getting that ball that was overthrown? That 2 cutoff men were overthrown, and Derek Jeter running across the diamond to get that ball and flip it to Posada, and then tag out Giambi, who didn't even think to slide because he thought he was
Jeremy Giambi, by the way, not Jason. It was Jeremy Giambi.
Jeremy Giambi,
Make sure.
And Jeremy Giambi looking at it like, duh, you know what I'm saying? Like, what the hell happened?
Shane
Like,
Spencer overthrew Siriano and Tino, right?
God damn. Yep. I mean, like, what amazing, you know what I'm saying? Like, what amazing, like baseball sense and just like heads up play. Like, I love it, man. Like, that's like, I love that play, bro.
I'm shocked. I can't believe. I thought you would hate that play and say it's overrated. I can't believe you say that.
That to me is because I saw it live, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's the best play that I've ever seen live. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, what? You know what I mean? Like, that like blew my mind. I was like, that is an insane play. Like, what was he thinking to even have the heads up to do that? Like, crazy to me, you know?
All right. So interesting, Steve. You picked a Yankee for number 3, and guess what? I picked a Met moment for number 3.
Okay.
I picked the Buckner play. Now, even though I was a lad, only about 8 months old, I picked it because I was alive, and I know the importance of that play to the city. I know the city went nuts. I know Mets fans went nuts. You said your dad's something happened in the apartment that night or something.
I'll tell you about it.
Yeah. So I mean, I love all the things around it too. It's the biggest. I don't know. You're a Met fan. I'd say it's the biggest. Well, it's definitely the biggest moment in Mets history in our lifetime.
Yeah.
And people forget it wasn't game. I forget. I until I was not older, but at one point I thought it was like the end of the series, and then it's not. It was
It was
game
game
6.
6, but it's set the tone. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, the Red Sox got clobbered in Game 7. They got
Like,
clobbered.
you know how a series changes. Like
Yeah.
it just goes from like one team to another. Like that.
Yeah.
That was
That's
that
a
was the
big
moment.
I
turning.
love that Kevin Mitchell and Keith Hernandez were up in the locker room, like getting ready to go home for the winter. Like there's just so many things that happen there. Like Kevin Mitchell comes up to the plate and he's like tucking his pants in because he had taken his jersey off. Like that's you can't make that up. And
Yeah.
it's great. It's always great seeing the Red Sox lose too. So I mean,
It's a good
great,
point.
great moment. I'm sorry, I got to go with that number 3. It's funny we both went with our opposite teams for number 3.
I like it. I like it.
So now we're getting down to the nitty gritty though. What's your number 2, Steve?
Number 2, put my Mets shirt on.
This sounds like a Met moment then.
Number 2, the ball between Buckner's legs.
Yeah.
So that's a ding common.
I had you guys send each of your things to me, and I was like, they both chose Buckner. I thought it was so interesting.
And you remember that way better than I did.
Yeah, I remember it like it was yesterday. And the reason that I remember it like it was yesterday was because the cops were called to my house at that time. I was living in the Bronx, with my parents.
Wait, how old were you before I just started?
I was 7 and change. I was 7 and change years old. My dad is like diehard Mets, like believes Mets. You know what I'm saying? Long story short, my dad got so excited that happened that the landlord called the cops on us for noise complaint, and the cops came to check to see. The guy was a ball buster. So he was not the best landlord, you know what I'm saying? But the cops did come to my house because my dad was celebrating so hard. What people don't realize is that Buckner was a good player, man. He was a solid player. He was a really good first baseman. He was a key member of that Red Sox team.
And the Cubs, like the years before that too. Talk about 2 cursed franchises to be on at that time.
So Mookie Wilson got the hit off him. If you even want to call it a hit.
I think it was an error.
Yeah. Ray Knight scored on it.
Let me ask you this, Steve. You think if he makes that play, you think Buckner, do you think Mookie beats it out?
No way. Buckner was almost parallel to the base. He would have got it and just ran over and stepped on the base. It would have been out. You know what I mean? But so that pretty much ruined Buckner's life. Like he became depressed, and he just was a shell of who he was. And Red Sox fans being the scumbags that they are, didn't really
He's a Mets fan.
Didn't really like publicly forgive him until they won the World Series in 2004. So
yeah, they finally brought him back in like 2007 or 8.
Yeah, so I said screw you, Buckner fans. Screw you, Red Sox fans. That game didn't lose a series for the Red Sox. That was game 6. The Red Sox could have came back and won. They should have came back and won, but the Mets just had more willpower than them. So it's actually a tragic story. It's a sad story, but it gave the Mets, the last World Series win that I'll probably ever see in my lifetime. And yeah,
Who's changing already, Paul? You don't know a little story too. It's not an urban legend. It's true. Supposedly the scoreboard operator, or like 1 out, flashed "Congratulations to the 1986 Red Sox
really
World Series" by mistake. Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've heard that story before. It's like talk about cursed. Well, they were cursed. Now they're not anymore.
I'm
My
excited.
number 2.
I'm excited to hear your number 1.
Well, this is my number 2.
I'm hearing number 2.
My number 2 is going to surprise you. You probably think it'll be number 1, but it's actually number 2. My number 2 is
David Tyree.
Well, yes, Giants versus Pats, Super Bowl 42. When the Giants, and this is for my buddy JD and VC, when the Giants will always be remembered as the 1 in 18 and 1, quoting Paul Heyman there. All right. That's that famous game. Yes, Manning to Tyree. Let's not get into all that right now, Steve. The hard-hitting defense, the great playoff run. But I mean, to me, that's and then of course Manning to Burris alone, touchdown New York, game over. Well, then the Giants had one last stop on defense when Brady was trying to throw it deep to Randy Moss. So the Giants, I mean, that was, I can't talk about annoying a landlord. The apartment I watched it in, I think we bashed the what do you call it in? The pipes in or something. I mean, that was a great night. Great game. Great run. I mean, just it went from beating the Bucs. Okay, that's good. We feel good. We finally got over the Schneid in the playoffs with Eli. Then we go and beat the Cowboys, which felt like the Super Bowl because the Cowboys were like 14-2 or 13-3 with T.O. crying after the game like a little wimpy. And then they go up to Green Bay in that iconic game where when
I remember that game so well.
They hit the winning field goal, we didn't even think they hit it because Lawrence Tynes had missed it.
Were you still
So,
home?
I mean, I was home. Yeah, I was home. We were watching that game in the downstairs at the bar. I
stood
remember.
in the doorway for that field goal.
Yes. And then, of course, the Super Bowl itself. Though, I mean, people that get overlooked in that game is Justin Tuck. He had an amazing game. Obviously, David Tyree. People forget about the other Steve Smith, who I mentioned in the first podcast. Steve Smith had some big catches in that game. Tyree also had the only other touchdown, too. I forgot that. Tyree had the first touchdown for the Giants to take the lead.
I read an article. I forget who was saying it, but someone, one of the players was saying it. They're saying that David Tyree couldn't catch a cold the whole fucking year.
Yeah, I just saw it today. Brandon Jacobs said it. I saw that.
Jacobs, yeah, couldn't. They said Tyree couldn't catch a cold the whole entire year. Saying he couldn't catch a cold, butt naked, soaking wet in Alaska or something like that. And then he made that catch, and I mean, you know the rest.
It was 14-10, Giants losing. Eli gets the ball with just above 2 minutes left. And Michael Strahan, mic'd up on the sideline, says to the offensive line before they're about to go on the field, 17-14, believe it, and it will happen. And it happened. And to me, that is the number 2 sports moment in my personal lifetime, in my opinion.
I'm excited to hear your number 1, bro. I'm really excited.
Let's hear your number 1 first.
Want to hear my number 1? All right.
Yeah, let's hear yours.
I'll put my Jet shirt back on.
He's just, I like this. He's going from one jersey to the other. I really like the
I do like this. I got to respect this.
visual effects here that we're getting.
Put this back on. All right.
This is your number 1?
It's my number 1.
Uh-oh.
It's Jets related. You guys want to guess what it is?
Is it when they beat the Patriots?
Kinda.
I don't know. What is it?
When Rex Ryan became the Jets coach.
Oh my God. Nice.
Okay.
Shut the fuck up. I can't.
When he won a press conference? That was are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Yeah. It gave
I can't.
Change your face.
You're kidding me.
Change your faces, right?
I'm changing it.
It gave the Jets instant swagger. He came in there, press conference, said, I'm not going to kiss anybody's ring.
Okay. About Belichick, yes.
Okay. Guaranteed a Super Bowl. I mean, which obviously didn't happen, but got everyone hyped up. Okay. Was one of the guys from the start, like was licking feet, eating buffalo wings. I mean, he had tattoos.
Oh, man.
You're joking right now, right?
This is a joke.
This
Not. His first year they went to the playoffs.
Yes, they went to the AFC Championship game, and the next year too. I know the whole history.
Okay, like they were right there. They beat the Patriots in the divisional round of the playoffs.
The second year,
right? They lost to them. They got blown out by them. He was like, you know what? Everyone, get out here right now. They buried the football on the stadium field. And the next week, they went out and they beat the Patriots. Okay. The only thing, I mean, they were this close from getting to the Super Bowl. They lost to the Steelers, which broke my heart. That was like my sports breaking my heart.
I remember that game. I was dying when they won.
Yeah. I remember that. We were on February break. I was in Boca. It was either February break or Christmas break. I forget.
February break, buddy. Football season's over by February break.
I'm sorry, Christmas break. It was a Christmas break.
Yeah.
And I was in Boca, and we were. I was at a bar watching it, like a bar, one of those bars that has like 50 beers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was watching the game, and I was just getting mad. and broke my heart. You know what I mean? But those are some fun times, man. Some fun times, and there was a lot of good players on that on those teams. You know, we had Revis Island. We had Santonio Holmes, which is one of my all-time favorite Jets players. We had Plaxico Burress for a hot minute.
Yeah.
It was a great time in Jets history, man. We had just gotten past the the Mangini era, which was like just weird. And Rex Ryan, he really like. I mean, I know you got the Giants fans, but for us Jets fans, like he really like blew some life into
That's
our
why I
Jets.
love when the Giants pummeled the ball down him in 2011 and beat him. That was great. Brandon Jacobs was beating him off the field, beating him on, yelling at him on the field after the game. That was good. But anyway,
Yeah.
that was cute. It was a cute choice for number one.
Yeah, that's a good way to
Number
define that, Mark. That was cute. He went with the that was cute.
Cute, very cute.
You got the Giants haters, and I'm used to it, so it's okay.
All right. Number one. This is gonna shock you. It didn't happen in my lifetime. This is my caveat. This is my not in my lifetime one. It's the thing that made Al Michaels famous, the Miracle on Ice.
Ah, that's good.
Because it did take place in New York. It's a national moment, but it took place in Lake Placid, New York.
That's what I mean.
That's the greatest sports moment in New York history.
That's shitty.
1980, Miracle on Ice, Lake Placid, New York. Game-winning goal
It was a big upset, but I mean,
against the Soviet Union. All right. I mean, you can't beat that moment.
that's your number one.
It wasn't. My Giants were going to be. No, Giants were going to be, but then I said, no, this moment has to, even though it wasn't my lifetime, this will be my non-lifetime one. And it is the biggest sports moment in history, really, because if you just know the time period of what happened, I mean, what was going on in the world, you can't beat that moment. And then they were such upsets. The Soviets were professionals. They couldn't play in the NHL because of, our situation with the Soviets. They were professional hockey players playing against literally college kids. And those college kids found a way to beat them. The Mike Eruzione scored to make it 3-2. Jumps onto this. I mean, and then the ending, and they would, it's just amazing. And then when the final seconds ticked off and that famous iconic shot of, I don't know which names or which guys it was, but they're on the ice and they're on top of each other. I mean, it's great.
Miracles.
Do you believe in miracles? Yes, is what Al Michaels said. I mean, it's just a great game. Great moment. Huge moment.
You both chose two very different routes for your number one.
So that's my number one. Can I go at Steve now real quick before we move on to our 2-minute drill?
But yeah, before you did, it's funny because I had, just so the listeners know, I had asked you both to send me your like top five, and you both kind of gave me like a couple, but you were unsure of your last one or two.
I just didn't give you my last.
And I read them to her, and she actually said, she goes, "Oh, no one's going to do Miracle?" I said, "I don't know." But it isn't really a New York. I guess you could say like it's like Placid. It's New York, I guess.
Yeah, New York.
I didn't think of it that way.
We played in the Garden.
Again, who would have thought a head coach would have been your number one sports moment in your lifetime?
Can I go back on his list?
That's how low the bar is for Mets and Jets.
I mean, Jesus. As he's changing now, what's he going into? A Abercrombie and Fitch shirt. Okay.
That's how bad. So yeah, Mark.
I got to go at number 4, Linsanity. That's insanity for putting that on your countdown.
I like it. Yeah, I love it.
No, Linsanity. Okay, this is low expectations of sport fans. He was good for 2 weeks and then it was over. Okay.
It's a sports moment though.
Yeah, we're talking about moments in sports history.
No, I liked it. I thought it was a good pick.
Both of you were lost. I mean, you waited an hour to say that. I mean, Linsanity, I was never into it when it happened. I knew it was going to be a flame out quickly. All these dopes buying his jersey.
Mark's such a know-it-all.
I mean, maybe I am. I don't know. Maybe I am the right. I knew it was going to be a flame out, and it was.
How can you have a problem with Linsanity? I mean, God, he's miserable.
Yeah, I'll go back to what I always go to. Did they win a playoff series with him? Did they win a title with him? Who cares?
His fault.
It's not all about titles, dude.
Did they even finish 500? I don't think they finished 500 that year.
No, they didn't. They went on a losing streak. Carmelo Anthony, Steve was right. Carmelo Anthony came back and they went on a terrible losing streak.
I'm not talking about the year that Jeremy Lin played. I'm talking about Linsanity, which was a specific.
The moment's got to lead to something. It led to nothing. It led to a dead end road, which is the
not for Jeremy Lin. For Jeremy Lin, it led to a multi-million contract. And like,
I don't care about his money. I'm talking about, here we go. As a fan, I care about what Jeremy Lin's making. I'm not getting that money.
I don't care what you think as a fan because it's not all about freaking playoff wins.
Well, in my case, the Jeremy Lin thing.
That's you as a selfish fan that's so used to winning every year that you don't know how to function when you don't win. Give me a break.
Well, I mean, I remember that was coming off also after the Giants Super Bowl, so I might have been a little bit of a hangover. You know, that's what us championship teams have when we win. So I probably didn't care as much, to be honest. I remember coming right after the Giants' second Super Bowl, 46. So I don't know. And then to me, that's a joke moment to put on there. I don't know how you put that moment there.
You know what's funny? Almost every one of your top 5 had to do with like winning something.
Because that's what makes great moments.
Mine had to do with feelings and like how I felt and how it made the city feel.
Yeah.
I mean, Piazza, when he hit that home run after 9/11, the Mets didn't win the World Series that year, but it still felt great.
But how do you not put that on there? That Piazza.
I mean, that's a number 6.
I don't know how that's not ahead of Rex Ryan, Linsanity and Rex Ryan. And after 9/11 of all things, I mean, you lived that more than I did. 9/11.
Yeah, but I mean, it was like I was like, wow, that's insane. But it wasn't like, oh my, it wasn't like season changing. All my picks were like.
So there you go. What did Linsanity do season changing? Nothing. See, I just won my argument.
No, Linsanity changed a lot of things. He changed Time Warner, bro.
Playoff game that year.
That's irrelevant.
I don't know. I think a lot of people are going to agree with me on this one, as always. I have a big fan base on the podcast, so I think a lot of people are going to come and agree with me. Do you want to take the task any of mine?
No, I mean, I liked yours. I did. I really had no problems with it. I mean, they were all decent.
The Boone one, you had no problem with that?
No, I mean, that was a huge moment. Like that literally made Boone like that. That's why he's the manager now, like straight up.
Yeah, I can't get over this Linsanity. I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight over this. Like, I'm gonna be so angry. I'm gonna get on the computer tomorrow and be more aggravated.
Wow. I mean, well, for once, I think your brother is on my side. You're on my side.
He's on your side, fine, because he's a Knicks fan who has not seen anything good with the Knicks. That was like his NBA Finals for the last 30 years.
But to go off what Steve was saying about the Piazza home run in 2001, I always think of a great sports moment from that year and it's not a sports moment.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say.
It's the George Bush first pitch in the World Series. Because I'm a history teacher, I show that to my students every year, my high schoolers, every year 9/11, the ESPN 30 for 30 first pitch. I mean, I know it's not like a athletic moment. I just think it's a cool sports moment where like sports and history all kind of transcended together. It's kind of cool. Okay. If I had to throw in another moment.
I have an honorable mention. Any Yankee World Series is honorable mention on my list.
2009 was a great World Series.
2009, that was great. I mean, all the Yankees championships are, obviously the Giants' second Super Bowl. The Giants beating the Jets in 2011 would be in my top 10. So many moments I have as a sports fan. Just great. Just great. I love it. I love being a sports fan.
And also, just talking about this makes me realize how pathetic New York sports is right now, besides like the Yankees, possibly the Mets, but like it's bad. I mean, when you really think about how bad, at least the last couple of years, it looks like there's a future for the Rangers. Looks like, it looks like there's something on the horizon for some of these teams, but man, like New York sports, especially New York football sports. I mean, God, this is what we have to live off of right now, are these moments. I was thinking about YouTubing. I texted you, Mark, the other day. I was thinking about YouTubing the Giants Super Bowl because I just want to rewatch it, like the 2012 Super Bowl. I'm like, I might just sit and watch this just because I need something to do. Like that's shows me when this was fun to watch.
Yeah, Giants are not fun to watch. I agree.
Well, they restored their pride this season, as I kept saying. So I expect good things going forward. But anyway, Paul, let's get to the 2-minute drill.
Oh,
2-minute drill.
Hold on. I had something in mind. Hold on, because I changed it because it was going to be the Bonds question, but I got another one, so don't worry. Just give me 1 second. Now I got to remember which one it was. Oh, yes. Okay. Since we have the Super Bowl coming up in not this weekend, obviously the week after. So this will probably be our last pod before the Super Bowl, I'm assuming, unless there's some other big news. And I'll let Mark go first and Steve. So is Patrick Mahomes the next Tom Brady?
Oh, you want me to go first, you said?
Yeah, Steve was a little distracted there, so I'll let you go first and Steve.
Patrick Mahomes.
Is he the next Tom Brady? Simple question. I'm not going to make it. Is he the next Tom Brady?
Easily, yes. And a better athlete.
Wow.
Patrick Mahomes is the next Tom Brady, for sure.
You think Patrick Mahomes will be in 10 Super Bowls?
See, that's where it gets tough. But as far as absolute on the field dominance, yeah, I mean, is he going to get the same breaks Brady has? You need some breaks. Everybody gets them. Yes. I think that he's going to can he get 10 Super Bowls? I don't know. Depends on longevity, all that
You
stuff.
think he's the next Tom Brady?
Because he might not want to play till he's 43 like Tom Brady. That's another thing. You know what I mean? He might want to retire in his mid-30s and go own. He already has other business ventures. He owns the Royals part stake.
Right.
So I don't know. But as far as best quarterback in the league and someone you're going to always like write down as Pro Bowl, going to the Super Bowl contender every year, yes, he's the next Tom Brady. That's all I got to say about that.
Steve, what do you got? Is Patrick Mahomes the next Tom Brady?
I want to say no. And the reason that he's not the next Tom Brady is because, like, Tom Brady is a robot. You know what I mean? Tom Brady is just like focused, and the only thing that gives him life is just winning games. You know what I mean? Tom Brady, we'll never see another quarterback like Tom Brady. Like, Tom Brady is just an absolute beast. You know what I mean? Speaking of Mahomes, like, it shocks me every year that more quarterbacks don't get hurt. You know what I'm saying? Like, the odds of Patrick Mahomes like not getting hurt in his career is like pretty slim.
Well, that's what I was going to say. What, the question really rides on the fact, will he be able to stay as healthy as Tom Brady? That's what it comes down to, because Mahomes does run around a lot more than Tom Brady ever did. So,
like, any given Sunday, you know what I'm saying? Like, a team can win. Any given Sunday, a quarterback can get just crushed and just, like, be out for the rest of the season. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I mean, I know I'm not a professional athlete, but I just don't see what like incentive is to play until you're Tom Brady's age when you're like a gazillionaire. I'm like just go like retire and go chill with Giselle and do you.
That's
the biggest pimp thing that Tom Brady could do this year is win the Super Bowl and retire on the top, and he'll just be looked at like, man, oh man, you know what I mean? Like Tom Brady, you know what I mean? 42 years old, new team, new players, new plays, new coach.
Did it.
Wins the Super Bowl for the first time, where the whole, like the team hosts the Super Bowl and just goes out on top, man, with Giselle holding his hand. Man, I'm rooting for Tom, man. Tom all the way, bro.
you just totally bought yourself into Tom Brady.
I love him, bro. I love him.
Yeah, I don't know. Mahomes, like you said, does he want to play to 43 like Brady? I don't think so. So I don't think he'll get to 10 Super Bowls. But as far as being the guy that people talk about, he'll be the guy.
Oh yeah, Mahomes is the man. Mahomes is the best quarterback in NFL. Tom Brady, for all intents and purposes, is was the worst quarterback in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying?
He didn't have a great game last week, to be honest.
3 interceptions, right?
Yeah, no, he didn't have a great game. I mean,
but he was solid though. He was solid. Like, he wasn't horrible, but he wasn't Tom Brady. But he was smart. Tom Brady's smart.
Right.
That's the thing. He's a good clock manager, and he knows what he's doing.
All right.
Yeah.
Anyway, on that note,
Super Bowl's gonna be great. Super Bowl's gonna be a great game. You know what I mean? I'm psyched for Super Bowl.
I think it should be a good game. So, want to do a quick Super Bowl prediction? What do you think? Score and victory. Who's gonna win?
I think it's gonna come down to whoever gets the ball last. It's gonna be like one of those like 2-minute drill kind of Super Bowl games.
I'm going with
like
Chiefs, Patriots. Sorry, Chiefs over the. I keep saying Patriots because they're Brady. Chiefs over the Bucks. 35-28.
I mean, gun to my head, I got the Chiefs winning. You know what I mean?
35-28.
I'm not gonna give a score, but I think the Chiefs' offense is just
too good.
It's too good.
I don't know if the Bucks can stop it. That it might come down to the last touchdown, or I don't know. I think either the Bucks will win a very close game, or the Chiefs will win by like 10 points.
Yeah,
that's what I think. I think the Chiefs will either win by 10, or the Bucks will win by a field goal.
Yeah, Bucks have got to play a perfect game against Mahomes.
Because the Bucks are very good. They had such a weird year. Like they'd go out there one game and put up 30-something points, and then they would get killed by like a crappy team. It was a weird. They were very inconsistent, but they had a lot of injuries, so there wasn't a lot. There had a lot of inconsistencies, but I think if they're firing all cylinders, I think they can beat the Chiefs. But
all right, well, we're gonna see what happens. Next time we meet, we'll talk.
In reality, as long as I get my boxes to win, I don't really care who wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear you. I got to do some boxes.
Hear my numbers. You know what I mean?
All right. Well, anyway, that was Two Dudes, Two Drinks. My name is Marino. Oh, hold on. Time out.
Steve.
If you want to contact us, please email twodudestwodrinks@gmail.com. Remember, two like the number. Tweet at us. Tweet at us. What is that feedback? I'm getting?
I hear you twice.
Anyway.
I started again.
Yeah, Two Dudes, Two Drinks. Like I said, email us. twodudestwodrinks@gmail.com. You could tweet at us at Two Dudes, Two Drinks. We have an Instagram page. You could find us on Apple, Spotify, and Buzzsprout.com. And of course, you could find us on YouTube. Please subscribe.
Yep. And
like I said before. Yeah, tell us what you think about this. Tell us what you think about this debate. I mean, freaking Lynn Kennedy, get the heck out of here. And Rex Ryan.
Your top five so we can tear it up.
Yeah, let us know your top fives too. Anyway, I'm Marino. This is Steve. Update guy Paul. We'll see you next time. Insanity. What a joke.
Later.